I used to live in a state of constant brain fog. And I don't mean just forgetting where you put your keys. I mean a permanent, thick haze that just wouldn't lift. I'd walk into a room, and the reason I was there would completely evaporate. I'd sit down to work, ready to be productive, and then nothing. Just me, staring at a blinking cursor for 30 minutes. My thoughts feeling like they were stuck in quicksand. My brain was constantly buffering, like a YouTube video on a terrible Wi-Fi connection. It was more than just frustrating. It was genuinely unsettling. It felt like I was losing the sharp, clear part of myself I'd always taken for granted. This fog crept into every part of my life. At work, my confidence was shot. I'd reread the same email 5 times, terrified I'd missed something obvious. Socially, I felt slow, like I was a step behind every conversation. I felt like I was watching my own life from behind a smudged window. It was exhausting and, frankly, a little scary. I started to wonder, is this just it? Is this the best my brain is going to be from now on? It's hard to explain what brain fog feels like if you haven't been there. It's not a headache, and it's not just being tired. It's this profound mental fatigue, a feeling that your own mind is a foreign country where you no longer speak the language. I remember one afternoon, sitting in my car after a trip to the grocery store, and I realized I had zero memory of the drive home. Not in a zoned-out way, but a complete blank. That was a terrifying moment, and it was the moment that finally shook me. I knew I couldn't keep living like this. I wasn't ready to give up on my own mind. That moment in the car was my rock bottom, and it lit a fire under me. I refused to accept that a life shrouded in mental fog was my destiny. So, I went down a rabbit hole of research. I spent my nights digging through medical journals, reading neuroscience books, and watching lectures from brain health experts. I was on a mission to understand what was happening inside my head, and what I could actually do about it. I wasn't looking for a magic pill. I was looking for real, sustainable, natural ways to get my clarity back. My journey led me to a place that was both simpler and more profound than I ever imagined. The secrets weren't in some expensive, obscure supplement. They were hidden in plain sight, woven into our daily choices: what we eat, how we move, how we rest, and how we challenge our minds. I started to see the brain not as some fixed organ, but as this dynamic, living thing that could be nourished and strengthened. So, I decided to turn myself into a human guinea pig. I started introducing new habits, one by one, and just paid close attention to what happened. And slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the fog started to lift. A thought would cut through the haze with surprising sharpness. I'd remember a name without that painful struggle. I could actually focus on a task for a whole hour. After years of feeling like my brain was failing me, I was finally starting to feel clear again. And in this video, I'm going to share the most powerful, natural secrets I found so you can do the same. All right. The first and most foundational secret is this: you cannot build a sharp mind on a foundation of junk food. The saying "you are what you eat" is profoundly true, especially for your brain. Your brain is an incredibly hungry organ, and just like a high-performance car, it needs premium fuel to run right. I used to grab whatever was fast and easy: processed snacks, sugary drinks, you know the drill. I had no idea I was literally feeding my brain fog. The game changer for me was discovering specific brain-boosting foods. I started with the heavyweight champion, omega-3 fatty acids. Your brain is about 60% fat, and while not all of that is omega-3 south, a specific type called DHA is a critical building block for your brain cells. Think of it this way: if your brain cells are electrical wires, omega-3 south are the high-quality insulation that lets the signals fly. When that insulation is poor, signals get crossed and you get slow thinking and memory lapses. I made a real effort to get more omega-3 south. Fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines became my go-to. I aimed for at least 2 servings a week. For those who don't eat fish, walnuts are a fantastic plant-based source, and so are flax seeds and chia seeds. I started throwing a handful of walnuts in my oatmeal and sprinkling ground flaxseed into smoothies. This simple change alone made a noticeable difference in my energy and focus. But it's not just about fats. The next step was building an antioxidant shield for my brain. Throughout the day, your brain is under attack from something called oxidative stress. Think of it like rust on a car. Over time, it damages your brain cells. Antioxidants are your brain's personal bodyguards that neutralize this damage. The best sources are brightly colored fruits and vegetables. Blueberries are absolute superstars here. They're packed with antioxidants called flavonoids that have been shown to improve communication between brain cells. I made it a habit to have a cup of blueberries every day. Dark leafy greens like spinach and kale are also critical. They're loaded with brain protective nutrients. I started sneaking spinach into everything. And here's a fun one. A small square of dark chocolate 70% cocoa or higher is another potent source of flavonoids that can support focus. It became my guilt-free afternoon treat. Now, this next secret was something I had never even considered, but it turned out to be a massive piece of the puzzle. The health of your gut is directly connected to the health of your brain. There's this communication network called the gut-brain axis, and it's basically a superhighway where your gut and brain are in constant dialogue. I had ignored my digestive health for years, and I had no idea the chaos in my gut was contributing to the fog in my head. It turns out, the trillions of microbes in your gut, your microbiome, play a critical role in your mental clarity. They help produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which your brain needs to regulate mood and focus. When your gut is out of balance, it can lead to a drop in these crucial chemicals, contributing directly to brain fog. Some recent studies on long COVID even suggest the virus might alter the gut microbiome, leading to that lingering mental fatigue. There's also inflammation. An unhealthy gut can become leaky, allowing inflammatory molecules to escape and travel to the brain, disrupting its function. Hearing that the roots of conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's are now being strongly linked to issues in the gut was a total paradigm shift for me. So, how do you heal your gut to clear your mind? It comes back to food, specifically feeding your good gut bacteria with fiber. I made it my mission to eat the rainbow, getting as many different types of plant foods into my diet as I could. I also discovered the power of fermented foods like yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi. These are full of probiotics, the good bacteria themselves. I started having a small glass of kefir with breakfast, and the change in my digestive comfort was almost immediate. Within a few weeks, I felt a corresponding improvement in my mental sharpness. It was like a background static in my head had finally been turned off. For most of my life, I saw exercise as a chore you did for your body. I never understood that moving your body is one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain. When I was deep in my brain fog, the last thing I wanted to do was exercise. But the science was just too compelling to ignore, so I forced myself to start. And I discovered that exercise isn't an expensive energy. It's an investment that pays you back with mental clarity. Aerobic exercise like a brisk walk, jogging, or swimming fundamentally changes your brain for the better. It boosts blood flow, delivering a fresh supply of oxygen and nutrients. But here's the really cool part. Exercise triggers the release of a molecule called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. The best way to think of BDNF is like miracle grow for your brain. It helps your brain grow new neurons and form new connections, a process called neuroplasticity. More BDNF is linked to better memory, learning, and focus. And the best way to get more of it is to move your body. I didn't start by running a marathon. I started small, a 30-minute brisk walk, 5 days a week. At first, it was a drag, but after a week or so, I noticed a shift. The immediate effect was a lift in my mood, which by itself helped clear some fog. But the long-term effects were what amazed me. My thinking felt sharper. Those tip-of-the-tongue moments happened less and less. Research backs this up. Even a single session of exercise can improve your attention for hours afterward. My daily walk became my non-negotiable appointment for a better brain. We have this hustle culture that treats sleep like a luxury. I was guilty of this for years, running on 5 or 6 hours a night. In reality, I was sabotaging my brain. I now know that sleep is not passive. It is an active, essential maintenance process for your mind. You can have the perfect diet and exercise routine, but if you neglect sleep, you will never beat brain fog. Here's what happens as your brain works all day. It produces metabolic waste, One of these waste products is a protein called beta amyloid. While you sleep, your brain has this brilliant janitorial service called the glymphatic system that clears out all this waste. But if you don't get enough deep sleep, that cleaning process is incomplete. It's believed this leftover junk contributes to that groggy, foggy feeling the next day. And the chronic buildup of this plaque is strongly linked to Alzheimer's disease. Good sleep, specifically 7 to 8 hours, is also when your brain consolidates memories, strengthening the important neural connections from the day. Realizing this, I had to get serious about my sleep. It became a protected, sacred time. I created a non-negotiable wind-down routine and our before-bed no screens. The blue light from our phones is notorious for messing with melatonin, the sleep hormone. I'd read a real book or listen to calm music. I made my room as dark, quiet, and cool as possible. The difference in my mental clarity after a good night's sleep was like night and day. The fog was just gone. The final secret is about actively challenging your mind. Our brains thrive on novelty. This is where neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to grow and change, really comes into play. Just like lifting weights strengthens your muscles, mental workouts strengthen your brain. This builds up what's called cognitive reserve. Think of it as your brain's backup generator. The more you have, the better your brain can handle stress and aging. And no, this doesn't mean you have to do Sudoku puzzles until your eyes cross. Truly effective brain training involves learning a new, complex skill that demands your attention. I decided to learn a new language. I downloaded an app and committed to just 15 minutes a day. It was hard. It forced my memory, attention, and reasoning to work in brand new ways. Another classic example is learning a musical instrument, which engages multiple parts of your brain all at once. You don't have to become a concert pianist. The key is the process of learning something just outside your comfort zone. Another powerful technique I used was mindfulness meditation. It might sound like the opposite of a workout, but it's an incredible exercise for your attention span. I started with just 5 minutes a day. The simple act of focusing on your breath and bringing your mind back when it wanders is like a bicep curl for your prefrontal cortex. Studies have shown regular meditation can physically change the brain, improving focus and emotional regulation. Putting all this into practice wasn't an overnight fix, but a gradual awakening. Today, my life is completely different. The oppressive brain fog is gone. It's like the sun finally burned through the clouds. I wake up feeling clear and ready for the day. At work, my focus is sharp. I can get into a state of flow, and my thoughts just work. My memory has improved in ways I honestly didn't think was possible. I remember names, details, the little things. My confidence is back because I trust my own mind again. But the biggest change is my overall sense of well-being. The world doesn't feel muffled anymore. I feel present and connected to my own life. There's a vibrancy to everyday experiences that was just dulled before. It's not just the absence of the fog. It's the presence of clarity. I didn't just get my old brain back. I built a better one. Breaking free from brain fog isn't about some secret pill. It's about a series of simple, powerful choices you make every day. It's about feeding your brain, moving your body, prioritizing sleep, and challenging your mind. I know how hopeless that mental haze can feel, but I am living proof that you have the power to change it. You can build a brain that is sharper and clearer than you ever thought possible. It starts with one small step. Maybe it's adding a handful of walnuts to your breakfast. Maybe it's a 20-minute walk after lunch. Or maybe it's just turning off your phone an hour before bed tonight. Choose one thing from this video and try it. Small, consistent actions are what lead to the kind of change that actually sticks. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one thing you do to fight brain fog or boost your mental power? Drop it in the comments below. Your tip might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and here's to a clearer mind.